Take a deep breath. Now look at your palm. Trace the lines that form the sacred M. This isn't just a mark. It is a map. And today that map leads to a conversation we must have. A conversation that is uncomfortable, urgent, and profoundly important for your journey. This message did not find you by accident. It was summoned by your soul because you are bearer of the mark are standing at a critical crossroads. For years on this Point Taken channel and in our shared spaces, we focused on the beautiful promise of the new earth, on the power and potential that your sacred markings represent. But we've ignored a darker, more pressing question. A question that Dolores Cannon herself was deeply concerned with in her most advanced sessions. And it is a question that must be answered now. It's not about who will shift. We already know that you, the M, mark souls, the starseeds, the volunteers. You are the chosen ones. Your presence here on earth at this time is not a coincidence. The real forbidden question is this. What is the one spiritual trap so subtle, so insidious that it could anchor even a chosen soul to the old dense reality? What could possibly stop a soul that was born for this moment from fulfilling its destiny? The answer has nothing to do with your beliefs, your past, or your worthiness. It is a matter of energetic physics, a spiritual law that is as real as gravity. In this message, we will decode that law. First, we will unveil the great filter, the true cosmic mechanism Dolores discovered that determines who can and cannot ascend into the new frequencies. Second, we will dissect the profile of the spiritual bystander, the one type of person who despite their inner light remains incompatible with the new earth. We will explore the three shadows that every marked soul must face within themselves. And finally, I will guide you through the path of recalibration. The specific actionable steps you must take. The this in the title that ensures your journey continues forward unimpeded. This video is a mirror. It may feel like a direct confrontation, a challenging reflection, but it is a loving, firm wake-up call from the universe to you. The time for passive learning is over. The time for conscious choice is now. But first, before we step through this powerful gateway together, I want you to feel settled. I hope this message finds you well. This is not a transmission to be rushed. So perhaps take this moment to pour yourself a warm cup of tea or coffee. Find a quiet space where your soul can listen without distraction. And as you settle in, let's create a small anchor of our collective energy. Let us acknowledge our presence here together in this sacred digital space. Tell me in the comments below from which corner of this beautiful earth are you receiving this message. It is a powerful reminder that while our light may be scattered across continents and oceans, we are all awakening together at the same time as one. Now let us continue. Before we can identify the profile of the spiritual bystander, we must first understand the mechanics. Why can some souls, even those with immense potential, not shift? The answer, as Dolores Cannon's work consistently revealed, lies not in divine judgment, not in worthiness, and not in some cosmic punishment. It lies in cosmic physics. Imagine our shared reality is a vast body of water held within a great vessel. For centuries, this water has been at a stable temperature, cool and dense. In this state, it can hold many things: salt, minerals, and yes, pollutants. The water can be murky, heavy, and slow-moving. This has been the nature of the third-dimensional reality. Now, imagine that the entire vessel, our entire solar system, is being gently heated. The energy is rising. The frequency is quickening. The water is approaching its boiling point. This gradual heating, this rise in vibration is the shift. When water reaches its boiling point, it undergoes a profound transformation. It does not simply become hot water. It changes its very state of being. It alchemizes into steam, a higher, lighter, less dense reality. This steam is the new earth. But here is the critical question. What happens to the salt, the minerals, the dense pollutants that were held within the water? They cannot turn into steam. Their molecular structure is too heavy, too dense, too fundamentally different from the nature of water itself. As the water ascends as steam, these dense elements are simply left behind in the pot. This is not the water's judgment upon the salt. It is simply a law of nature. The salt is by its very essence incompatible with the state of steam. This, my friend, is the great filter. The rising frequencies of our galaxy are the heat. Your consciousness is the water. And the dense unresolved emotional patterns, the limiting beliefs you hold, the heavy karmic baggage you carry from this life and others. These are the pollutants. Dolores Cannon's work was revolutionary. Precisely because she treated ascension not as a religious event but as an energetic and biological one. Over and over the collective consciousness she point-taken channeled what she called the subconscious explained that our physical bodies and our energy fields are being fundamentally rewired. Our dormant DNA is being activated. We are quite literally becoming more light-filled. In one particularly profound 2007 session, the subconscious stated this with chilling clarity. The vessel must be prepared. It cannot carry the new voltage if its circuits are corroded. The corrosion is not sin. It is unprocessed emotion. It is attachment to dense thought forms. A soul does not fail to ascend. A vessel fails to calibrate. Let that sink into the very core of your being. A vessel fails to calibrate. This is the key that unlocks the entire mystery. The shift is not a passive event that happens to you while you simply watch from the sidelines. It is an active moment-to-moment process of calibration that happens through you. You are the alchemist. You are the one who is constantly with every thought, every feeling, and every choice adjusting the purity of your own water. And for you, a soul who chose to incarnate with the sacred M mark, your vessel is a masterpiece of spiritual technology. It was designed from its very inception to hold an immense amount of light, to point-taken channel incredible frequencies of love and wisdom. But this also means it must be kept impeccably clean. A finely tuned instrument is far more sensitive to dust and debris than a crude one. This brings us directly to the heart of the warning. The type of person who cannot shift is not the evil person, the hateful person, or the unbelieving person. It is the person who for various deeply ingrained reasons refuses or is unable to engage in this personal process of calibration. It is the person who keeps pouring salt and mud into their own water all while waiting for the rising heat to magically transform them into pure steam. They are the spiritual bystanders. And now we must look into the mirror with courage and radical honesty. We must see if any part of their shadow lives within us. As we step into this next part of our conversation, I ask you to do so with an open heart. This is not about judgment or shame. This is about liberation. To see a shadow is the first step to integrating it. And integration is the very essence of alchemy. These three shadows are not signs of failure. They are the sophisticated spiritual traps laid out specifically for the most advanced souls. They are the final tests for the chosen. The first and perhaps most deceptive shadow for an marked soul is that of the intellectual collector. Your mind is a magnificent instrument. As a bearer of the mark, you possess a natural and profound curiosity, an innate pull towards the deeper mysteries of the universe. Your mind is a palace of spiritual knowledge. You have likely spent years, perhaps even decades, building its library. You have read every book from the Law of One to the Convoluted Universe. You have listened to countless hours of channeled material. You can debate the nuances of different timelines, the history of Atlantis and Lamria, and the mechanics of quantum entanglement with startling clarity. But here is the insidious nature of this trap. For the intellectual collector, this knowledge remains in the head, not in the heart. It is information that has not yet been transmuted into wisdom. The knowledge is collected like precious jewels displayed in conversations to prove one's spiritual advancement, but it is rarely if ever applied to the messy, difficult, and beautiful reality of one's own life. You may know the 5-step theory of forgiveness by heart, but you still hold a deep burning grudge against a family member who wounded you years ago. You can explain the physics of abundance and manifestation flawlessly, but you live in a constant knowing state of lack consciousness, worried about bills and scarcity. You talk eloquently about unity consciousness and the oneness of all beings, but you find yourself constantly judging those you deem less awake or still asleep. Dolores Cannon often spoke of this disconnect. She said that the subconscious was never interested in what a person knew. It was interested in what they had lived. The subconscious would often bypass the conscious mind's vast library of facts and go straight to the heart's record of experience. Because in the eyes of the universe, knowledge is utterly useless until it is embodied. The water of the intellectual collector is filled with the salt of unapplied theory. They are so busy analyzing the recipe for bread that they never actually bake the loaf. Their frequency, therefore, remains unchanged. It remains anchored to the old earth because their emotional state, their day-to-day lived experience is still governed by the old programs of ego, resentment and fear despite their vast and brilliant intellectual understanding. They are watching the movie of ascension in stunning high definition. But they are not living in it. The second shadow is equally dangerous for it preys upon the deep faith of a chosen soul. It is the trap of outsourcing your divine power. This is the shadow of the passive follower. The passive follower has abdicated their sovereignty. They are not waiting for their own inner work to create change. They are waiting for an external event to save them. Their hope is not placed in their own hands, the very hands that bear the mark of a creator, but in a future promise. They are addicted to the endless stream of predictions about a solar flash, a mass landing of the Galactic Federation, a global currency reset, or a medbed rollout that will instantly heal everyone and solve all of the world's problems. They spend their days and nights consuming this content, getting a temporary high, a fleeting rush of hope that feels like progress, but is in fact a form of spiritual stagnation. They believe deep down that they don't have to do the hard, painful work of healing their own trauma, of taking responsibility for their own lives because the event is just around the corner. This is a profound misunderstanding of cosmic law. The external world is always a reflection of the internal state of the collective. The new earth cannot be given to us as a gift. It must be birthed through us through our collective transformation. The solar flash is not a trigger that starts the awakening. It is a cosmic response to our collective frequency, finally reaching a critical threshold of light. The passive follower is like a person sitting in a cold, dark room, refusing to light the match in their own hand because they have been told the sun will eventually rise. They are willingly giving away their creative power. They are waiting to be rescued. In one particularly blunt session, the subconscious delivered this powerful truth. There are no passengers on the ship of ascension. There are only crew members. Those who wait on the shore for the ship to carry them will find that the ship was something they were meant to build themselves. The water of the passive follower is stagnant. It is not being actively purified through personal effort and conscious choice. They are waiting for someone or something else to come and install a water filter for them. And in doing so, they miss the entire point of this grand experiment. Your mark is the sign of an architect, a builder, a co-creator with the divine, not a spectator. To wait is to abdicate the very power your soul came here to claim. The third shadow is the most subtle, the most insidious, and perhaps the most common in modern spirituality. It is the trap that masquerades as enlightenment itself. This is the shadow of the spiritual bypasser. The spiritual bypasser uses high-vibe concepts and spiritual platitudes to avoid dealing with the messy, painful, and difficult realities of their human experience. You see suffering in the world, and instead of feeling empathy and seeking to help you dismiss it as their karma or a soul contract, they chose using a spiritual concept to absolve yourself of responsibility. You experience personal trauma, a betrayal, a loss, a deep wound, and instead of processing the genuine pain, anger, and grief, you suppress it, claiming, "I'm just going to focus on love and light." You use positive affirmations to paint over a cracked and crumbling foundation of unhealed wounds. You are luminous on the surface, a beacon of positivity. But underneath, in the unseen depths of your being, your vessel is filled with a dense, heavy sludge of repressed fear, anger, grief, and shame. This is a critical error in understanding the physics of the shift. You cannot vibrate your way out of an emotion you have not been willing to feel. Unprocessed emotion is dense energy. It is a literal energetic anchor. In order to release it, to alchemize it, you must first be willing to face it. You must be willing to feel it in your body to honor the lesson it brought you, and then from a place of true power and awareness, consciously let it go. The spiritual bypasser is trying to build the penthouse of a skyscraper without first digging the foundation. They are afraid of the dark, so they pretend the darkness doesn't exist. But the M mark on your palm signifies a master alchemist. And an alchemist knows that the darkness, the lead, is not the enemy. It is the sacred raw material needed to create gold. The new earth is not a place where problems and difficult emotions don't exist. It is a reality where we have become so masterful at processing our emotions and taking responsibility for our creations that we no longer create from a place of fear, lack, or unhealed trauma. The spiritual bypasser, by refusing to do this foundational shadow work, proves they are not yet ready for that level of creative mastery. They are not yet ready to be handed the keys to a 5D reality. If you recognize parts of yourself in these shadows, I want you to take a deep conscious breath. Do not despair. Do not allow the voice of judgment to whisper in your ear. The fact that you can see these patterns, the fact that you are still here listening with an open heart, is the most powerful sign of all. It means you are ready. You are ready to choose a different path. You are ready to move from being a bystander to becoming an active architect of your own ascension. The path of recalibration is not complex, but it does require a quality that has become rare in our modern world. Radical honesty, and it requires a commitment to consistent conscious effort. The universe does not reward intention alone. It rewards embodied action. Here are the 3 fundamental shifts you must make. 1 for each shadow. This is the sacred work. This is the this you must do. The first shift is designed to counter the shadow of the intellectual collector. You must move from collector to embodier. To do this, you must institute a new non-negotiable rule in your life. It is the embodiment rule. And it is simple. For every 1 hour of spiritual information you consume, you must spend 1 hour in spiritual practice. There are no exceptions. If you watch a video about the power of forgiveness, you must immediately turn off the screen, sit down with a pen and paper, and write a letter of forgiveness to the person who weighs on your heart. It does not matter if you ever send it. The act of writing it, of feeling the emotions and transmuting them into words, is the alchemical practice that changes your frequency. If you read a chapter in a book about the importance of grounding, you must close the book, go outside, and place your bare feet upon the earth. Feel the pulse of Gia beneath you. Let her energy stabilize your own. Don't just know that grounding is good for you. Feel it healing you. This rule forces you to turn abstract knowledge into a felt lived experience. It compels you to move the information from the library of your head to the temple of your heart to the very cells of your being. This is how you purify your water. This is how you change your energetic signature. Your vast library of spiritual knowledge is a beautiful but useless collection of maps until you begin to walk the territory they describe. Let your wisdom live not on your bookshelf but in your bones. The second shift is the antidote to the shadow of the passive follower. You must move from follower to creator. To achieve this, you must consciously and courageously reclaim your divine sovereignty. Unsubscribe from the point-taken channels and sources that feed you daily doses of opium. The endless predictions that keep you in a state of passive waiting. Limit your consumption of external promises and take all of that time, all of that precious energy and pour it directly into your own life. Begin each morning by asking yourself one powerful reality-altering question. If I knew with absolute certainty that there was no external event, no rescue, no one coming to save me, what would I create today to make my own world and the world immediately around me just 1% better, 1% more, like the new Earth? Perhaps the answer is to finally start that small herb garden on your balcony, bringing life and vitality into your space. Perhaps it is to call that friend who you know is struggling and simply listen to them with your full presence. Perhaps it is to finally sit down and begin that creative project, that book, that painting, that song which your soul has been begging you to birth for years. Stop waiting for the new Earth and start building it. Right here, right now, in the sacred soil of your own life, become your own savior. Become your own hero. This is how you signal to the universe that you are ready to be a crew member, not a passenger. This is the architect's vow. The third and final shift is the courageous path that counters the shadow of the spiritual bypasser. You must move from bypasser to alchemist. To walk the alchemist's path, you must embrace the most sacred of all spiritual work, shadow work. The alchemist does not run from the darkness from the lead. They walk directly into it with reverence and respect because they know it is the raw material needed to create gold. From this moment forward, when a difficult emotion arises, fear, anger, sadness, jealousy, do not suppress it. Do not judge it and do not cover it with a premature positive affirmation. Instead, you must stop. Breathe. Place a hand over your heart and speak to the emotion either silently or aloud with these words. I see you. I feel you. Thank you for the data. What are you here to teach me? Sit with the emotion. Allow it to be felt in your body without making it your identity. Where does it live? Is it a tightness in your chest? A knot in your stomach? A fire in your throat? Breathe into that sensation. Give it space. Listen to its story. This is the art of honoring your humanity. It is the most courageous work a soul can do by facing, feeling, and integrating your shadows. You are not just healing yourself. You are fundamentally purifying your vessel. You're alchemizing the dense, heavy lead of your past into the brilliant golden light of your ascended future. This is the foundational work that makes the higher frequencies not just accessible but sustainable. This is the alchemist's path. The warning has been delivered. The shadows have been revealed. The path of recalibration is now clear. The great filter is not a punishment. It is a sorting mechanism of cosmic elegance, a natural law of resonance. It simply asks of every soul with every rising dawn, is your being, your frequency, your moment-to-moment reality resonant with the past or with the future? Are you a bystander to your own evolution, or are you its architect? This is not a test you can study for with your mind. It is a test you must live with your heart. It is a choice that is made not once but in every conscious breath, in every intentional action. So I invite you now, not as a follower, not as a collector, but as a conscious creator, as a bearer of the sacred mark, to make a new declaration. Go to the comments below and state your commitment to action. Do not just type, I am love and light. That is the language of the old way, the language of the bypasser. The new way, the path of the architect, is the language of embodied action. Write this vow and feel its power as you type, I am no longer a bystander. I am an architect. My practice of recalibration starting today is, and then with courage name your practice. Is it the embodiment rule? Is it the architect's vow? Is it the alchemist's path? Let us create a public record of our collective choice. Let us create a cascade of commitment that ripples out into the collective consciousness. Let us inspire each other not with theories but with action. Your M mark is your signature as a builder of the new earth. Now sign your name to the work. If this warning was the catalyst, the loving wake-up call that your soul needed, then share it. There are millions of beautiful, well-intentioned mark souls unknowingly caught in these subtle traps. Your share could be the key that unlocks their path. And finally, subscribe. Because our work as architects, our journey of building the new earth from the inside out is only just beginning. The choice is simple. The work is profound. The time is now. What do you choose?